because we were the only female group to sell out consecutively around this country. But you'll disregard that because you'll say, well, what did you do yesterday? We got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. Now, I said no to some very powerful people. And what I did say, I meant as a stand-up comedian. I'm unapologetic for it. But what happens is we oftentimes will judge a dynamic. When I got into stand-up comedy, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian and a talk show host. That's all I saw, that's all I wanted. I will cancel the show. No show will happen, but I wanted to call you up to see how you felt first.
Monique is a well-liked comedian and one of the best actresses. Anytime she was going to perform on stage, it would always be packed to the brim. And in any movie she featured, you would surely get a good laugh and a great film. She has won awards such as the Golden Globe Award for her amazing talent throughout her career. However, her career slowly came down and she stopped appearing more and more. Eventually, she somehow vanished, but she is still there. Not so long ago, she revealed why she disappeared from show business. And from what she had to say, it really seems yet again that Hollywood is behind it. She has revealed how some of the stars in Hollywood, such as Oprah Winfrey and Lee Daniels, played a role in making her career come to an end. But what exactly did she say? Stay tuned until the end as we witness Monique revealing how Hollywood exploits Black comedians. And to pass this message along, she tells her story as an example. Over the years, people have seen Oprah as the kindest person in the world. How she goes around helping people from all over the world and promoting others just wins the hearts of many. However, sometime in 2023, some of her dark secrets were revealed to the world and everyone has her under a microscope as everyone looks back at what exactly she has done. Now, beloved actress Monique has accused Oprah of going behind her back and betraying her. The two were great friends up until the point when Oprah invited Monique's abusive family to her show. Monique, a woman with a strong character, decided to speak out when she realized that people were taking advantage of her. But when she spoke about it, it only made things worse.
Where Oprah Winfrey and I have a problem is Oprah Winfrey called us up and she said my brother wanted to come on the show and talk about him molesting me, and he wanted to tell other parents how to look out for molesters.
Oprah and Monique's falling out was actually more complicated than we thought. It so happens that it is deeply personal and goes way back than people thought. You see, both Monique and Oprah came from abusive households. Growing up, Monique idolized Oprah, even wishing to be like her. When her idol told her to work hard, Monique did just that. She gave it her all and eventually became one of the best stand-up comedians. As she was becoming more and more famous, she ended up crossing paths with Oprah more often. And each time this happened, they grew closer and closer. As they grew closer, they exchanged stories, even talking about their families. She recalled telling Oprah about her mother and how her brother would abuse her. As she continued becoming a star, she got to work with Lee Daniels, an old friend of Oprah, on one of her greatest movies, Precious. This was her big break, taking her to levels she never imagined achieving. Before shooting this movie, everyone saw her as more of a comedian than an actress. But with the way she executed her role in this film, everyone was impressed. Everyone was just talking about how great she was at the show. And eventually, producers planned to fly her worldwide to promote the movie. The only problem with this was that she had other priorities at the time. Monique had just gotten married and started to live with her family, and after 2 failed marriages, she was desperate to make this one work. Because of this, she had to make some sacrifices, such as declining when she was told to go to another country to promote a movie. When making this decision, she thought she had the support of everyone around her. She thought that when she told Oprah and the producers about her decision to focus on her family, they would understand and support her. However, that was not the case at all. When Monique refused to go for the movie promotions, she faced backlash from everyone. And according to her, she was labeled as difficult only because she said no. In an interview, Monique talked about how she has said no to several producers. She said no to Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and even Lionsgate. However, she didn't know that it would only get worse and her career would only get sabotaged after that. However, the backlash wasn't the worst, and neither was her career being sabotaged. What hurt her the most was a betrayal she never saw coming. And it is at this point where things change from professional to deeply personal. As we all know by now, Monique was abused when she was young. And the sad part of it all is that it was her older brother who abused her most. Given the circumstances, Oprah, being a good friend, would not invite Monique's family to her talk show. However, that was definitely not the case. Monique remembers one time when she received a call from Oprah, and during this call, Oprah was just calling to tell her that she would invite her older brother to her talk show, but there's more. This is the same brother who abused her sexually when she was 7 years old. According to Monique, Oprah told her that if she wasn't comfortable with her brother being on the show, she was willing to cancel.
She said, if you don't want me to have your brother on the show, I will cancel the show. No show will happen. But I wanted to call you up to see how you felt first. When I hung up that phone, brother, I looked at my husband and I said, that bitch is all right with me. That's a real.
She kept it
because she didn't have to call me up. She didn't have to say my brother was coming. She could have just ran with the shit and let it happen. I dig her for that.
Monique thought that Oprah had her back in everything all this time, but this proved otherwise. Shortly after the call, Monique started seeing adverts and commercials with her entire family. This included her mother, whom she despised so much.
Now I begin to see commercials with my brother, my mother, my father, and my other brother.
It was knowing that her mother was going to be there that made Monique really upset. This is because when Oprah and Monique opened up and talked about their brothers, the conversation went deeper. Monique had already shared with Oprah how much she despised her mother for abusing her as well.
And the reason why that means so much is because in the conversation we had about my brother, we then went deeper. And we began to talk about our relationships with our mothers and our fathers. And I shared my relationship with her about my mother, as she shared hers with me, which I will never repeat because she shared it with me.
However, when Oprah called Monique to tell her about her brother, she never mentioned that her mother would also be there. That would have made Monique tell Oprah to cancel the show. At this point, Monique felt betrayed by Oprah, someone who was not only her friend, but who had also gone through the same experience. In addition, this is someone who knew how much it hurt. To make matters worse, Monique claimed that Oprah never apologized for that at all. However, Monique wouldn't let it slide that easily. Monique confronted Oprah during a party they had both attended. All she did was ask Oprah why she had her mother on the show. And even after that, Oprah never really apologized. Knowing that it would be an uncomfortable conversation, Oprah has never addressed Monique since then in any interviews, even when she is asked about it. Moreover, although it is obvious that her actions hurt Monique, she has never expressed regret to her for anything. By now, Monique was tired of all the powerful people taking advantage of her, and it was around this time that her career began to be sabotaged. Suddenly, deals started going south, and when she asked around, she couldn't understand why. Monique was even more angry because Oprah, someone she held dearly in her heart, was not doing anything to help her. But even through all this, Monique was not planning to remain quiet or leave. During this time, Monique received an offer from Netflix. However, compared to what other people were being given, this was definitely a very unfair deal.
Can y'all believe this shit? Can y'all believe this shit? I done came on home to Netflix. Hey y'all, it's your girl Monique. And I'm so excited to share that I'll be shooting my first Netflix comedy special.
What made the deal so unfair was the fact that she was only being offered $500,000 for an entire Netflix comedy special. On the other hand, other comedians were being offered up to $11 million for the same thing, and even though $500,000 is a lot of money, you can't compare it to $11 million. Furthermore, for someone who has won an Oscar and had a talk show, you definitely expect her to be given a much better offer. Monique wasn't happy about this at all, and so she sued Netflix for discrimination. As we all know, Hollywood likes keeping such things low. They eventually settled on an undisclosed amount. In addition, she also agreed to a film with Lee Daniels. Given the history that Monique already had with Lee Daniels, this was unexpected. But because he apologized to her in public, Monique had no bad blood with him. Monique is someone filled with a lot of fights in her, and eventually she knew that she had to do it not just for herself, but also for the future generation. The fight was definitely bigger than her, but she would never give up. She still stayed strong even though she faced a lot of betrayal from those she considered friends. Whenever she saw that something was not right, she never kept quiet about it. You saw what happened when Oprah, the person she looked up to, backstabbed her, and when she talked about it, she was only faced with backlash. Other comedians and actresses, especially those of color, go through this. If they don't work according to how those in power want them to, or if they refuse to follow the orders of those in power, their careers are sabotaged and their lives messed with. So now, do you think that Monique's actions were right? Was she justified in exposing those in power and what they do? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more celebrity gossip and updates.